You're looking at me like a question. So, what is your experiences with Baker? I guess you guys get together for the Heisman commercials and things like that, or what's been your experience? What have you seen in him that has impressed you over the years?
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for him. Every time I've been around him, he's been really cool. I actually talked to him multiple occasions, but I talked to him when Coach first got hired, just because he was the coach before that, so just wanted to pick his brain on things like that. So talk to him in a lot of different lights, and I have a ton of respect for him. Obviously I get to in division, so I get to watch him we all play the same people, so for 3 years now, been able to watch him play and have a ton of respect for his game, how he carries himself, how he leads. So yeah, a ton of respect for him.
Did he ever share how hard that 22 season was for him being here?
I haven't talked to him about that. Obviously, a lot of people were here while he was, and they've done the same. They've all raved about his character. How he was in the building. He was always bringing his best. Always had a lot of great energy and charisma, which isn't surprising at all to hear. So yeah, that's what I've heard.
Bryce, this is the first season where you guys are competing for a playoff spot in the final, 3 to 4 games of the season. I know every game is considered a championship opportunity, but individually and maybe in that quarterback room, is there just like a sense of giving it kind of an extra push or honing in on specific stuff as far as the scheme or turnovers or anything like that?
No, it's being consistent. It's striving for the best. Like you said, coach challenges us with that every week, and it's going to be the same. We just want to go 1-0 this week. That's all that matters. So for us, we're still doing the same thing, trying to master our process in the quarterback room, having the same routine, being diligent. So yeah, it's just taking it 1 week at a time.
Said he could sense subtle cues from guys today that guys were locked in. What do you see, or what's an example of that you've seen from teammates that suggests that?
Yeah, we have a group of guys that do a great job with being focused and being motivated. Walkthroughs I think is always a really good, especially a Wednesday walkthrough. You're kind of back after a little, the day off and a little bit of time away from being on the field together, and again, it's a walkthrough tempo. So I think kind of in between the huddle, seeing how quickly guys get back, hearing what the conversation is. Is it all on topic? Is it all the guys that are standing behind, getting there, how focused is everyone? And, I'm super grateful and super proud of this team. We do a really good job of that, of being focused. I thought it was a good day today. But, it's Wednesday, so we have to continue to be consistent, have to build, have to go back after this and watch the film, get ready to grow from it, and then have a good Thursday tomorrow.
One of the things that this team's been able to do is bounce back from losses to, teams that, maybe people thought should have beat. How do you do that, like, personally? Like, can you take us through, like, your mindset of, putting that one behind and moving on to the next week and focus? Like, what do you do mentally? How do you work through that?
Yeah, again, it's just the 1-0 mentality. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever it may be, you have to, in this league, you have to turn the page. For me, individually, I enjoy the challenge. You can't be thinking about last week again, good or bad, in this league. Teams are too good. So I enjoy the challenge of having a new puzzle to try to find out, having a new game plan to study and to learn and to master, all that stuff. So for me individually, I try to just get lost in the process. I'll try to hit my landmarks throughout the week. Try to check off my boxes, and just being consumed by that process kind of just naturally allows you to turn the page.
How does it take you to get over a loss? Is it when you walk in the building on Monday morning, or is it Sunday night right after the game? When are you able to kind of get over those stuff?
It's just whenever we most of the time we come back on Monday. You right when we have a coach do a great job of kind of giving us a real timestamp of it. We go in, we watch the film, and then after we get done watching the film and talking, we go back and we have about whatever hour or so on the next opponent, and we all come back as a group, and we all right. page is turned. Now and from then on, you're only in the building. You're talking about the next opponent. You're talking about next week. You're talking about the game plan for that week. So I think that's the time for me. As a leader, as a quarterback, I can't afford to have one foot there and then good or bad still be in the past. So when that happens, it's my responsibility to make sure I turn the page too.
You've been that way in games too, though. I mean, the ability to, like, something's going bad, but then your number's 11 wins in the last minute or whatever. What is it about you? Where did you get that strength from, or that ability to kind of put all that behind you and focus on what's ahead of you, especially at the end of a game where it's on the line?
Yeah, I think it just comes from my faith. Everything's already written. I'm a believer of that. And I try to control what I can control, and I know that big picture stuff, results, in my mind, that's out of my control. I focus on the process, focus on trying to do the best I can, and I take joy in that process. And it's nice knowing, again, I can do everything I can. I can try to be diligent. I trust in the Lord, and whatever outcomes happen, big picture, one game, one season, whatever it may be. And I know whatever it is, it's what's supposed to happen. So I find joy in that, and it allows me to be diligent in the process.
I know it's a different situation completely, but at Alabama, you guys were consistent winners. You were able to execute pretty consistently. What did you learn about your time at Alabama that maybe kind of lends itself to preparation and also mindset to build consistency?
Yeah, it was similar of just, you got to turn the page. We start every game 0-0. Again, whether that's good or bad, but no one comes in and you're not going to win any games off the bus, not in this league. You're not going to, you're not entitled to anything. So I think in college that was a theme. And also another thing was just not being motivated by external stuff, not looking at rankings, not looking at standings, not trying to, figure out what, how things are going. It's just being obsessed with us, with our process. And, Coach talks about that all the time. It's about finding our best. So I think for me and for us, that allows us to be focused week to week.
When you have a game,
Jaylen Coker is kind of emerging, making a lot of big plays. I mean, what have you seen out of him? And did you feel like it took him a bit to get going? I mean, after missing 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, nothing. I didn't see anything new. I've seen Jaylen be Jaylen. Again, someone who's, crazy versatile, is an extreme competitor. Works super hard. He's huge for us. He's a huge part of us as a team, as a unit, as everything. So nothing that he's been doing has been surprising at all. I have all the confidence in the world in him. And of course, it's always tough. He was. And, I felt from early on in the year just being out and, watching him battle in the training room, do everything right, pushing himself on the side when we're practicing just to do everything he can to get back. Obviously it's like, when you come back kind of in that mid-season, it's all of us kind of working together to find our best. And, we were still working through that. So, but again, him being who he is, making big plays, doing things right. It's not surprising at all.
Bryce, T-Mac and you guys, I think, averaged almost 5 catches a game first 11 games, but the last 3 games he has only 5 catches for just over 100 yards. So what are teams doing, or what's going on there that's sort of taking him out of the offense a little bit?
Yeah, that's the league. Teams make adjustments. There's some stuff that. There's stuff that, we all want back. There's stuff that, we all want, obviously everyone to go and have success and have a career night every night, in the league. Sometimes, it's going to get spread out, but, T-Mac's doing a great job. He's special. That's not changing. That's not going to change. Obviously, like you said, we'd love for everyone to be able to, everyone to score and everyone to have amazing yards every game. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that, but I have all the confidence in the world in him. I know as an organization, coach and staff, everyone knows who he is. And I'm a always execute the game plan. I'm a listen to what the coaches say and go about that. But I have all the confidence in the world in him.
Dave uses the phrase focal point of the passing game. When did you realize he could be that? And what did you see out of him early on that suggested he could be that kind of receiver?
Yeah, I mean, right away, there was nothing, when he first got here, he does so many things so well. It's obvious just to see all that he brings to the table and has been since he first got here. So, luckily, in this receiver room, we have a lot of guys capable of that, which is great for me, being able to have, weapons across the board. So have all the confidence in the world in him and our entire receiving core, and, we know we're going to do whatever it takes to win.
And when you guys had a game with some kind of stakes like you have this week, is it easier to have that at home or on the road?
It's always easier to be at home just because of the fans that we have, because of the environment that the Bank of America Stadium brings. I'm super grateful for our fans. We always take pride in that, but also it's not something we can rely on. You're going to play half at home, half on the road every year. We're prepared for whatever, but, we're always grateful to be able to play at home. Thanks, guys.